In a calendar pockmarked with bond deadlines, gag orders, and criminal trial dates, Tuesday was a bright spot for former President Trump. Trading began for the Trump Media and Technology Group, parent to his Truth social media platform. The firm ended the day at nearly $58 per share, with a total valuation of $7.9 billion. Mr. Trump owns 60% of the shares, worth $4.5 billion. It's a potential financial lifeline as his legal bills pile up and campaign fundraising levels remain low. For more on the stock's debut, we're joined by Amrit Ramkumar. He's a finance reporter at the Wall Street Journal. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
How does this valuation compare to companies of similar age with similar balance sheets?
It's pretty unprecedented. We've never seen a company like this that's only a few years old that a lot of people don't know much about. We don't really even know how many users it has on a regular basis. And suddenly it's valued at something like $8 billion. Trump's stake is around $4.5 billion. And his supporters keep pushing up the stock price, raising this prospect that this could go on for a lot longer than anyone expected. So with this market value, the company is in the neighborhood of much more established companies like U.S. Steel, the investment bank Jefferies, the shoe company Skechers, like well-known household name brands. And Truth Social is sitting there with them all of a sudden. So it's a pretty miraculous storyline.
And Amrit, do we know who's, I mean, you mentioned some of the investors. Who's investing in this company? Is it individuals, institutions? What do we know about them?
Definitely a lot of individuals. So thousands of them are banding together on Truth Social and other social media platforms to buy shares of this stock, even though many Wall Street analysts and others say it's highly overvalued and speculative. Trump supporters kind of see it as a way to bet on him winning the election and to help him. As you mentioned, his legal and campaign expenses are piling up. So we've really, again, never seen something like this where you can bet instantly on the outcome of the election. A lot of people feel by buying shares of this company, and now it trades under the stock ticker DJT, Trump's initials, and Trump's casino company traded under that ticker decades ago, and now it's returned. It's again pretty surreal.
Yeah. So help us understand. The president needs cash, as we've talked about. When will he be able to sell shares, make this liquid, should he want to?
That's the million or billion dollar question now. So in deals like this one, Trump's company merged with a shell company, a special purpose acquisition company, or a SPAC. So typically in these deals, insiders and large investors have to wait at least 6 months before selling shares. To get a waiver to sell early or borrow against the stock to help pay bills, he could get a waiver from the board of the company. The board in this case includes his son, Donald Trump Jr., and 3 members of his presidential cabinet, as well as Devin Nunes, who defended him in his first impeachment trial on the House Intelligence Committee. So that's 5 of the 7 members. So you scenario where they give him the option to sell early. There are certain limits potentially, but you could see this situation where he gets to sell several $100 million worth of shares within a 3-month period. And again, it's an election year, so that would be crazy and unprecedented in terms of potentially going toward his campaign. So it's really murky, though, and there are a lot of technicalities here, and there are likely to be a bunch of lawsuits potentially if he tries to sell early. And there are already lawsuits from company and SPAC insiders that are weighing on this. So it's going to be a very tumultuous period for the stock. You mentioned it ended today up 16%. Earlier in the day, it was up 59%. So it's going to be swinging up and down and changing the value of Trump's shares, and it's going to be wild to watch.
Amrit Ramkumar, thank you for helping us understand it now. I suspect we might be back to you again on this. Finance reporter for the Wall Street Journal. Thank you.
Have a good night.